From 4 News Now, with live updates throughout the day, breaking news as it happens, and weather every 10 minutes. This is KXLY Plus.
Good afternoon for 4 News Now. I'm Rob King. Coming up tonight in 4 News Now at 6, Robyn Nance has a special report about a local teen who's recently received his settlement from the Spokane Valley School District about abuse a couple years ago. Here is a little bit more about that.
He was a university high school freshman who needed extra attention, but the person hired to help him violated him instead. Where is that paraeducator now? How much did the school have to pay? And why wasn't this case enough to stop it from happening again? Watch tonight, only on 4 News Now at 6.
And to talk a little bit more about it, we're going to speak with Robyn Nance. Robyn, how did this story first come about? I know I've seen some stuff that we reported on it earlier a couple years ago, but how did you get about starting this special report?
I was actually approached by the attorney's office that I worked with on another story that I did recently, the one about J. Bardee Ranch. The same attorneys played a part in this case, representing Isaiah, who you will meet tonight, who you just saw in that promotion. Isaiah was 14 years old, a freshman at University High School. He had some behavior issues, he needed some extra help at school. And so the school district, and what happens with a kid needs help, whether it be educationally or behaviorally, they get an IEP, an individualized education plan. So part of that plan is they work with the teachers, they work with administrators, people in the special education realm, and they come up with a plan, whether it be extra help with test taking or things like that. So in this case, Isaiah needed extra help, and they decided that one of the ways that they would help him would be to assign him a paraeducator. So a staff member who would basically follow along, track him, help him with homework, make sure he's staying out of trouble and staying in class and things. The paraeducator at the time, her name was Jaylene Bowman. She was 33 years old. She was assigned a couple weeks into the school season in the fall of 2019 to assist with Isaiah. Not long after they were assigned to each other, they hit it off. This is according to Isaiah. They hit it off, and he asked if he could reach out to her outside of school on social media. So he asked for her Snapchat. She didn't have one. She said, but I have a Facebook. You can contact me there. He says immediately he contacted her through Facebook Messenger and sent her some explicit photos. She sent photos back, and then this relationship, if you will call it, started. And it kind of goes from there. So you'll hear a lot about what that relationship entailed tonight in my special report.
So the big update is that he's recently received a settlement. How much was it for, and who's paying for that?
Yeah, great question. So this settlement is for $2 million, and the Central Valley School District is on the hook for that. This all came kind of to fruition because I'll go back into it a little bit more. Jaylene Bowen provided Isaiah with drugs. So he has admitted to us that I was 14 years old, I tried pot, but she fed him, not just pot, edibles. She gave him Xanax. They did cocaine together. So they started this relationship outside of school to where he would sneak away. She would pick him up down the road. They would get together. They would do drugs together, and then they ended up having sexual relations of sorts a number of times. And so the settlement really is for the fact that she was an employee of the school district and should have been monitored. She did inappropriate things she should have never done with a child. And so the school district is on the hook for that. And they kind of, in the settlement, said, yeah, here's the deal. Here, we didn't do what we were supposed to do. She was fired pretty much immediately as soon as they did find out. She did serve a little bit of jail time. She did get convicted of providing drugs to a minor, and then she also pleaded down to communication with the minor with immoral purposes. So it's a lot of money that Isaiah is now has been given, but he also lost a whole lot of his childhood. He admits also that, and you'll hear that in his own words, that he not only like tried drugs with her, he got hooked and he became an addict. So now he is now 18 years old. Now he is in rehab. He's trying to, get clean, get his life kind of back on track. But it was so traumatic for him that he also dropped out of school as a sophomore. He was a freshman, tried to, and I think all of this came to a head. Her arrest was in December when they were caught together. Jaylene Bowman's husband actually tracked them down, found them doing drugs together in a church parking lot on Christmas Eve of 2019. He called police. And that's actually when Isaiah's mom found out about it on Christmas Eve, when the police came to her door and asked her if she knew who Jaylene Bowman was. And she didn't know before then. You'll also hear from Isaiah's mom. She talked with us pretty candidly on camera as well. And, this is a really traumatic situation for this family.
And it sounds like something they're still dealing with, even though they've received the money, the criminal charges are over. It's legally over. But
right.
It's going to be trauma that he carries with him.
Right. And that's another thing is that, he says the school district failed him. And by all accounts, from an outsider, it looks that way as well. Here you send your kids off to school and you expect them to be safe, to be, learn, that they're there for education, but they're also there to be supervised. And what happens when that doesn't happen, especially under a guise of not only are you supervised by your teachers, but he had a one-on-one paraeducator who was supposed to be with him, walking him through, keeping him safe, keeping him on track, and just the opposite happened. And now Isaiah is talking about, I had to grow up really fast, some really crazy things happened, and I did some crazy things, and now I'm paying for it because he's kind of messed up. He associates all education with betrayal, and he doesn't really have a desire to further his education. He also, is in drug rehab, and that is not something that you take lightly. He has admitted that it's been really, really hard, and it's something that he's going to carry with him for the rest of his life, is that he is an addict, and he does blame her. And in fact, he is angry that she didn't get more time and she didn't have to really face the music, he doesn't think.
How long did she serve?
90 days.
That's it?
Yeah.
Wow. Robyn, this kind of has a similar theme to your last special report about J-Bar-D Ranch, where it's these systems put in place to help, and they end up doing a lot more damage. You also have an upcoming special report in kind of a similar vein. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, it's really not another special report. It's really a tag onto this one, or maybe even an intro to this one. Central Valley, in the same school district, Central Valley, this one at Central Valley High School, a teacher there is about to go on trial next month for something similar. It was a female teacher, but she was having inappropriate relationship with a 17-year-old student. So I have reached out to the Central Valley School District, waiting to hear a response from them. I don't know what kind of comment we'll get, if anything, but it is now in their hands as well.
This is a really in-depth piece that you've done. It's got a lot of moving parts. It's been, kind of building for years. Was there anything that you had to cut that you think is important for people to know?
Boy. Had to cut a whole bunch out of it because the interview was really long. You're only given such a small amount of time, and luckily, with my special reports, I'm giving a little extra time, so I feel pretty grateful for that. But there's so much. I think, the fact that Isaiah dropped out of school is really telling. And this is a kid who has admitted, he's had a rough way to go. He feels like he was betrayed by not just Jaylene Bowman, but the school district. Here he feels like he was a troubled child and he was kind of thrown away. And his family, his mom specifically says the school district did nothing to get him any help, did not get him counseling after all of this was done, basically did nothing. And I don't know if that's, if that's direction they were given by an attorney, saying just like, don't say anything, don't do anything. But this kid needed a lot of extra help and he didn't get it. So I think that's really sad. And I want to kind of admit also something or bring into context. My kids went to University High School. My kids were there Actually, one of them was still in school when Isaiah was a freshman. They did not know each other, but I personally have a lot of love for U High, and this was hard for me to tell because I don't want to bring any negative light on the fact, of what went on there, because my kids had such a great. Most of my kids had mostly great time, but they're high schoolers and they're going through stuff. But my kids were there, and I really do, really enjoyed their time there. So this was a hard one for me to tell on top of that.
Got it. Robyn, I'm looking forward to watching your special tonight.
Yeah,
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Rob. Appreciate your time.
Absolutely. And like we said, Robyn's special report airs tonight in 4 News Now at 6. It'll be up on KXLY Plus and KXLY.com following its completion. But for now, live in studio, I'm Rob King for 4 News Now.